powering with 50,000 watts to all of South Florida. This is 1210 AM, The Man.
Every yard they gain now on this third down adds a yard to the punt, Jim.
Well, what do you do on 3rd and 43 out of the playbook? You make the call, Pat.
Well, I'd probably throw it, maybe a touchdown. I'd call a touchdown if I were the coach. Usually the simplest call.
Randal Hill out there. First down, Miami.
That's what I would call.
After Dronet's play. Going downfield for Thrill Hill at the 20. To the 10. Touchdown, Miami. Come on back, Randal. Come on back. Well, we talked about the older, more experienced Miami team. This borders on child abuse.
I remember the great days, the glory days. Can't wait to get back again. 1210 The Man with Chef Fox. And, man, I just love sitting back, Reaper, and reminiscing about how we used to whoop everybody's ass. And and I hope we get back to those days really, really, really quick. You know, right now, Coach Diaz and the boys in Orlando scrimmaging up there in Gator Country. We open up against them, I believe in August. But right now, we're going to go back to the guest line. And let's welcome our newest host on 1210 The Man, the great Randal Thrill Hill, Mr. 3rd and 43. Randal, how you doing, man? I still can't believe that play.
I'm doing well. It's funny, you know, people talk to me about that play, and sometimes it's 3rd and 55, and then they tell me it's 3rd and 77. You know, it gets longer and longer as the legend continues to grow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us so much, man, on this Saturday. Did you make it to Orlando to watch the team?
No, sir. Some of us have to fight for truth, justice, and the American way.
Yeah.
So, no, I didn't get a chance to make it there, but I'm there in spirit. I think Coach Diaz is doing a good job thus far. You know, there's some things that the fans have to understand, and we here in South Florida are spoiled.
Right.
And rightfully so, and I've said that time and time again. I have no problem spoiling South Florida. I don't have no problem with South Florida being spoiled because it's the greatest place on earth to live. Plus, we have won those national championships, and that's what the community really wants.
Right.
And but you got to be a little bit patient. You always give a coach at least 3 to 4 years to see how his team develops, to get his own philosophy in the play, and that's what Coach Diaz is doing now. The guys who are spoiled in South Florida, like I said, I have no problem with. But you know what? Let's bring back the reins a little bit. Give him a chance to get established. Give him a chance to get his philosophy in place. And then after 3 or 4 years, we need to be, starting to get ready to start collecting some rings.
You know, we're talking with the great Randal Hill right here on 1210 The Man, the Jeff Fox Show. Randal, I've had a problem with that. I've had a problem with trying to be patient, because I just remember dominating for so many years. And the way you guys used to just smack everybody around and thrust your pelvises in the process, you know what I mean? We did get spoiled, and I think everybody wanted the U to be back. And then there's this phrase, the U is back. When will the U be back?
No.
We want that.
Hell no, absolutely not. I first heard that, the last time I heard that was after the Notre Dame game a couple of years ago.
Right.
And I went on a radio station and I said, listen, back up. Slow your roll.
Right.
Just because you beat Notre Dame at home doesn't mean University of Miami is back. Just because you have something called a turnover chain does not mean the University of Miami is back. Just because you have a winning streak and maybe you beat Florida State does not mean the University of Miami is back. The the University of Miami will be back when they continuously put rings on their fingers. And I'm not talking about ACC rings.
Right.
I'm not talking about conference rings. Yeah, that's nice. I really like that. That's cute. I enjoy it, and I want to see Coach Diaz do that. But you can't use the phrase, the University of Miami is back, until you at least 1 or 2 years in a row put national championship rings on your finger. I don't care about, conference rings. I think it's great. I think it's a great stepping stone. I think it's a good start. But, maybe you want to talk to somebody else about that. Maybe you want to talk to a fan or, it's funny. People ask me, how come you're so hard on the University of Miami? I said, because, because I played there.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know what it takes to get there. I know what it takes to go to the big dance. And people ask me, well, but it's just so hard. I said, you know why? Because we deserve better in South Florida. And I really believe that Coach Diaz is going to bring it to South Florida. And he has my utmost support, and he's going to have it because, like I said, and I'm telling you, just be a little bit patient. We'll be okay. And let's see how Coach Diaz fares out.
I ran into Ja'Cory Harris during the week, former quarterback here, and I almost wanted to apologize because I put so much expectations on that Northwestern class. A lot of us did when they beat the Gators, and ESPN came down, and I think they beat the Sooners that year as well. And then we started getting all this national attention, and we built ourselves up. It's hard even for the new millennials now watching Canes football because they've only heard the stories, Randall, about how you guys dominated, and they could, of course,
legendary stories.
Yeah, the legendary stories, and pull up the YouTube videos. 2001 was a long time ago, bro, and we have not even won the ACC yet.
Yeah, let me, and I think Coach Diaz is on the right track because I think he is understanding that when and you talk about the great class of coming out of Northwestern and they 5-star rated and 10-star rated and this recruit does this and this recruit has this type of rating. That is not how you win championships. That is not how you win titles. That is not how you bring the legend of the University of Miami back. That is not how you represent the holy grail of swag being South Florida, the University of Miami.
Right.
The way you do it is you recruit individuals who will not accept second place. You will have to recruit individuals who have the mentality and the audacity to believe that they can bring it home whenever they want, how they want. On in every phase of the game. It's an attitude that you have to recruit. If you look at the great classes that Coach Johnson, Coach Snellenberger recruited, I know it's a different time, but it's still the same mentality. They recruited dogs. They recruited individuals who would not fail, who didn't believe. And if the point spread wasn't covered offensively, it was a freaking loss.
Right.
It was a loss. So you once you start understanding that it's not all about the rating, that's like going to the combine and just grabbing the person who has the fastest 40 time or the highest vertical leap. That's not how it's done. You have to get people who understand the direction that the program is going to. They have to buy into the system, and they have to not think about. You have to get recruits that not thinking about. Okay, well, I'm going to go into the NFL. No. You got to get it done here first. Let's take care of special teams as a true freshman. Let's take care of special teams as a redshirt freshman. Now let's try to contribute as a redshirt sophomore and or a true sophomore. People talk about all the time, we have all these young guys. Well, last time I checked, in 1987, we won a national championship with 10 guys not being redshirted as true freshmen and played. So I don't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. Get the right guys there, get the right guys with the right mentality, and we'll kick anybody's butt.
Let me ask you something, Randall. Randall Hill joining us right here on 1210, The Man, The Jeff Fox Show. When you look around the ACC and you see how dominant Clemson is and how dominant Alabama is, and they got big boys, and we've been pushed around in recent years by the likes of Wisconsin and bowl games. Why would you look at Coach Diaz and say, you know what, this guy is going to take us back to where we need to be, where we once were? What would be something that would give you an indication that, you know what, sure, those teams are dominant, but we're coming? What would that be?
Well, first, it starts at the head. Cut off the head, and the rest of the body will follow. And I'm just going to call it, and some people may not like what I'm getting ready to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. He's not like previous coaches. He's not like Al Golden.
Right.
He doesn't have that mentality. He doesn't have the mentality of coaches that have recently gone through that don't have that dog mentality.
Right.
And when you talk about Coach Diaz at this particular point, from what I'm seeing, he's carefully putting those pieces into place. If you play chess, you know, I don't play checkers. Anybody tell you that I don't play? This is a chess game.
Right.
And you have to take your time and strategize. And you have to have not just being physically strong up front. You need to have quickness up front. You can teach someone to be stronger, get in the weight room.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much speed you're going to be able to gain after a certain amount of time. After certain training and stuff. It's an aid and it's there. It's the ability that's there, but you have to be able to bring it out. But you have to have here. You talking about being pushed around? Okay, nobody pushed Russell Merrill around. Nobody pushed Jerome Brown around. Nobody pushed Danny Stubbs around. But on that same note, when we played basketball in the off season, you were not allowed on the basketball court unless you were able to dunk. Russell Maryland can dunk.
Whoa.
Jerome Brown could dunk.
Right.
Danny Stubbs could dunk.
Athletes.
So these are athletes. Say no more. Say that again.
Athletes.
That's what you have to have, those athletes, not just big guys, but you got to have guys who can run fast, who are strong, who have trained dealing with plyometrics to be able to not only run through somebody, hold somebody up at the line, but run around them, go through them, and possibly dunk over them.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? These days, we don't want to hear anymore. Not that we don't respect you guys and cherish you guys. We do, because I still watch that 3rd and 43 play against Notre Dame. I still watch the 2001 championship team highlight films, but we don't want to hear about the past anymore.
Right.
To the point for right now. We want to get back to being a consistent winner in the ACC, and we want to be head, shoulders, or at least parallel next to the big boys like Clemson and Alabama. I'm hoping Coach Diaz, because he's a Miami guy. He came up when we did, Randall. He was there in the Orange Bowl. He felt it. He knows what Miami is about, and we've got to get back to that.
Well, you brought up a good point, because I talk to people all the time who like hearing about the history and like hearing about the past, and I'll talk about it as much as they want. And then you have some people who say, well, you know what? Why are we still talking about the past? That's a good point. And my response is, we can stop talking about the past when you show us the future.
I like that.
We can stop talking about the past when you make more memories that are memorable.
No.
We can stop talking about the past and stop talking about what we did as far as old national championship rings when you bring home new national championship rings.
Yep.
And that's my mentality. I mean, if you notice, I really don't. I go to some events and I support the University of Miami. We got the charity and celebrity fishing tournament coming up, which is going to be a great event, and it's going to be over in I want to say in South Beach this year. And I go to some of those events, but I try to some legends just fade off into the sunset.
Right.
That's what I do. So let's make new memories so we can put the old memories to bed. When we can get someone, because everyone talks about 3rd and 43. Okay, cool. Well, you know what? Until you can get someone to go 3rd and 44 and 3rd and 45. Okay,
Yeah.
what are we going to continue to talk about 3rd and 43? It is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. It's the nature of human instinct. People like to hold on to great memories, but it is time to make new memories.
No doubt. Speaking of new memories, man, I want to welcome you to 1210 The Man's roster. And
Yes, sir.
yes. We're teammates now. And
Yes, sir.
you'll be doing your thing on Sundays. Give us a
12.
little sneak peek, man, because you bring it every time on the radio. I can't wait. I know you did your first show last week, but give us a little sneak peek what's going to be expected on the Randal Hill Show.
Well, what I want to do is bring a lot to the show. Of course, there's always going to be sports talk, and people want to talk about sports with me. What I think about the Dolphins, what I think about the Heat, what I think about definitely the University of Miami, whether it be baseball, basketball, football, track. I love track. That's my heart actually.
Mm-hmm.
But we also on the show are going to talk about things that are happening in South Florida. I want to be well-rounded. I want to have a well-rounded show. We're going to be able to talk about the community, whether it be Calle Ocho, the old school Goombay festivals.
Yeah.
The history of South Florida. We could talk about cars. We could talk about we could dabble a little bit in some of the social media and or what's happening in the community. I'm going to have some good guests on. And some up-and-coming shows. I've talked to A.C. Tellison, which, he is a wealth of knowledge. A lot of people don't know when you talk about some of the old-school University of Miami players, a lot of them are going on to do great things. A.C.
Right.
Tellison, for example, was a former assistant athletic director at FIU. So he could bring, some of that knowledge to the table. I also want to talk about how we can make our community better, how we can unite together. People always talk about New York. People always talk about California and Texas. That's all good. But I think that South Florida, the 305-786-954, represents what the United States should represent. People from all ethnic backgrounds working together to get along for one common goal, and that's peace and harmony, and to bring and to uplift people who need to be uplifted. And that's what South Florida is all about.
I'm sure you're going to do a fantastic job. Welcome to the family. I'm thrilled, no pun intended, to be your teammate here on 1210 The Man. The great Randal Hill, everybody. Look forward to listening to you tomorrow, my friend.
It's an honor and a privilege. I've seen you around.
Yes, sir.
Just to, be on your show. And whenever you call me, man.
I will, man. We got to talk about this Mueller report. We got to talk about this Mueller report.
Uh-oh.
Hey, man, we appreciate
I just can't talk about because then you guys don't forget, I am them. We are they.
Yes, sir.
I'm a figment of your imagination and dismiss that so. I'm a man in black. But we'll get together. We're going to talk. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man.
Let's rock and roll.
No doubt. Great Randal Hill, thank you for joining us right here on 1210 The Man.